Hey, welcome back to Kyle's Financial News. I'm your host, Kyle. Today's date is Thursday, June 27th, 2024. Jumping right into it, the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are both pushing upward a little bit today. Not huge jumps, just a little bit more bullish action than what we were getting the last couple days with that sideways movement. So that's refreshing to see some positive market action. We have a presidential debate going on tonight, Trump versus Biden. Very interesting because neither's backing parties have officially nominated either one of them as being the primary candidate. I think obviously we know that that will probably end up being the case, but it just seems a bit early to be doing a debate with each other. So that will be amongst probably all the major media platforms here, and I think that takes place in the next couple of hours. Should be pretty interesting. Supposedly this time they are turning off the mics of the candidates in between questions to make sure certain candidates cannot overtalk other candidates. And a lot of people are just wondering if certain candidates can even stay awake for a 90-minute debate. It should just be pure entertainment, pure cheap entertainment. So I'll watch that, and don't think I'll have anything to report on it, but it should just be something kind of funny and entertaining at least. There is some discussion around inflation and the economy. That's a big topic, as well as the border crisis and that type of stuff as well. But surrounding inflation and the economy, presidents just unfortunately both take credit and blame for regardless of how well the economy does. Under the Trump administration, people remember the economy being very well, which for the 3 years before the COVID pandemic in 2020, sure, the economy was doing fine, as it does pretty much mostly under any president, unless there's some extreme changes. But if you look at the economy under Biden, yes, he has created 15 million jobs or so, which is significantly higher than the amount of jobs that were created under the Trump administration. But you have to remember that at the end of the Trump administration is when a bunch of jobs were lost because companies were shutting down, people were getting laid off, we were under lockdown, everybody was staying home. It was critical service employees only. And under the Biden administration is when the lockdowns were relieved, businesses could go back into opening their doors, and people were getting jobs. And so it was very circumstantial. It's not like I think that I disagree with the idea that Biden did so much better at creating a workforce economy than Trump did. I really don't see how necessarily either of them did anything significantly more impactful than the other one. It was just by circumstance there was a disruption and then an undoing of that disruption, and so naturally a lot of jobs came from that. And that's the same reason we have inflation. We don't have inflation because Biden made a lot of jobs and we came out of COVID. We have inflation because the Federal Reserve added $4.5 trillion of assets to their balance sheet, and they just started adding zeros into the monetary system and sending checks to every adult in the United States, multiple checks, and now that money has to get, well, not only is it still circulating throughout the economy, but it now has to be pulled out through the economy. So we're suffering from the higher inflation of all that excess money being in the economy in the first place, and then we're also suffering from the high interest rates, which is how the Fed is going to scrape that money back out. So that's also just circumstance. That's not, I mean, we didn't have to have the Federal Reserve do what they did. I don't know how. Anyway, maybe topic for another video, because that could be a whole discussion. Anyways, so I will be watching the presidential debate. Should be fun. You should check it out too. It might be history in the making. We never know. So Markets are closed next week on Thursday, July 4th. That is a federal holiday, of course. And yeah, markets will be closed. A little bit of an interruption in the trading week. I would not expect a lot to be going on next Friday in markets, but who knows. Please like and subscribe if you've been liking the video this far. I appreciate the support so much, and hope you all are getting some good value out of the content that I provide. Keith Gill and Roaring Kitty, the GameStop kind of fiasco continues, but in a little bit different spotlight. Keith Gill this morning posted a picture of a dog on his Twitter account, and not his dog, not a animal dog in the sense of it was a photo of somebody's dog. It was like it was more like a Microsoft PowerPoint created dog. Like, it almost just seems like a bunch of little shapes cookie cut into place to make a little happy dog face, and the tongue is sticking out, and just seems kind of like cartoony. You would think nothing of it. There was no text included in it. It was just a photo of a dog. And lo and behold, Chewy stock, ticker CHWY, and WOOF stock, ticker WOOF, Petco, absolutely rocketed. Like, the second that post was made, those stocks both immediately went straight up. Not talking by 3 or 5%. Chewy rocketed close to 39 to 40% within about 12 minutes. Now, it may have done that even sooner, but there was a limit up, limit down halt enacted about 6 minutes after the post was made. And if you're not familiar with limit up, limit downs, how they function is if a stock is experiencing high volatility of more than 5% or 10%. I believe it's 5% within about 5 minutes. Then it gets halted temporarily for a 5-minute window, and then it gets resumed. So that function is in case there is significant market impacting data by any company that is dropped during market hours, such as, it could vary from like an extreme accident, like the CEO is in a car wreck and is in critical condition or something wild like that, or the company announces, or maybe they wouldn't be announcing it during market hours at least, but perhaps an employee or somebody from the inside accidentally leaks that the company is pursuing an acquisition of another company, or like some big news impactful event that would trigger the stock to maybe either go up super crazy wild fast or down super crazy wild fast. So those market pauses are meant to just give participants and the company, if directly related to the company, a couple minutes to be like, hey, it's okay, like, chill out, give everybody a moment to digest it all, and then the market resumes and we go from there. It's not a manipulation tactic like a lot of GameStop traders will tell you it is. It's a actually useful tool that has been around for quite a long time. So yeah, both those stocks absolutely just exploded out of nowhere. Not really any telling why or who bought into it. And then very shortly after, without any additional tweet or anything, they sold right back off. In fact, both of them are pretty much closing at about where they opened today. And Chewy is even starting to underperform a little bit for the session today and go a little bit negative. So I hope some people didn't get caught up in that. This is a little bit of my concern that I have with this whole Keith Gill and social kind of crowd investing, crowd trading, I suppose maybe is what it should be called, like crowd trading or crowd meme stock trading. Yeah, it's and not to suggest that like this should be a crime and Keith Gill is a bad guy for doing this. He's just doing whatever he wants to do, as he should be able to. That's, if he wants to post dog and cat photos, that's his right. Let him post dog and cat photos. But the people following that and making assumptions like, oh, he's talking about Chewy stock, I need to go buy Chewy stock. I mean, we're just pulling random things out of a hat at this point. This is not, there was no trading ideas going on there. I don't know if a bot or an algorithm is what kicked off this movement, but I'm sure if you go on Wall Street Bets or look at some of the Twitter comments and following of his post or replies of his post, that you'll see people that got caught up in that and through fear of missing out and emotional trading got involved, and now they're not going to be doing so hot, especially if they bought options. That would be extremely dangerous. Yeah, just very interesting stuff though. I mean, what a time to where somebody can just post an image of a cartoon dog on Twitter and it can cause hundreds of millions, if not potentially billions, of stock action and volume across two completely separate tickers, same category, both doing like pet food and toys and services and stuff like that. So the same industry, but two completely different companies to just skyrocket out of nowhere. So yeah, like I said, Chewy ran up almost 40%, and it is now closing the day, I think just negative like 0.1%. So it completely undid that. And Petco rallied only about 15 to 20%, and it also then just immediately came right back down. So market makers stepped in there and were happy to take advantage of that liquidity and that price action. So yeah, interesting stuff. We might have an update on that here in the near future. He hasn't announced any live streams or anything coming up, but hopefully he doesn't just keep posting random photos, because how are you going to keep up with that? So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great afternoon, and I will catch you all tomorrow.